Welcome back. Thank you for staying with SABC News. You're watching SA Today with me, Flo Ladwaba. A few years ago, retailers were happy to discount deeply across all of their ranges just purely for the hype factor. On revision, many have realized the damage it's done to their overall business models. As a result, Black Friday has moved from a one-day shopping event to something that retailers now see as a sale season. But given the evolution of the way Black Friday is marketed, compounded with the damaging effects of the pandemic on buyers' disposable income and rising ethical consumerism, will we see any increase in sales? To dive deeper into the changing shopper trends as well as how smart discounting will impact the success of Black Friday this year, we're now joined by Jonathan Hurvitz, Group CEO of online retailers Teljoy. A very good afternoon to you, Jonathan, and thank you so very much for being with us here on SABC News.
Thanks for having me, Flo. It's nice to be with you.
I'd really like to understand why retailers believe that there was huge damage due to the way that Black Friday was carried out previously. Obviously, from where I'm looking at it, I thought that this was something that was good news and good for retailers to see people kind of pushing and shoving to get things off their shelves. What was the damage about, and what was the problems that retailers picked up in that point, apart from the fact that really people were kind of on top of each other inside the stores? But talk to us about why this then had to be changed to kind of a sale season as opposed to that one crazy day.
So Black Friday, it used to be one of those days that was a clearance sale for all the stock that retailers had left over from the year. It then evolved into a price war of foot traffic, and that's why we've seen the crazy pictures we see when shops open their doors. It's just absolutely craziness. So people moved away from clearance stock to mass discounting, and why retailers have changed the way that the seasons have worked from a sales perspective is that it's effectively moved Christmas sales into November. It's put a whole different view on the purchasing cycles of retailers on their suppliers and the whole supply chain, all the way going backwards to manufacturing.
Yeah.
So that's where there's been a massive change in what Black Friday was, I suppose, meant to be as a start into terms of what it's evolved into in South Africa.
Now, we've spoken about the retailers' side and the point of view of the retailer. I want to talk about the shopper, the consumer. I want to dive into the changing sort of shopping trends. This year has really kind of highlighted online shopping. Someone like me who was really afraid of online shopping has now become quite comfortable with online shopping. So I'm sure we'll see a lot of that, and I wonder if that is the expectation now this year particularly. But also on the back of that, consumers have been hit hard. You know, there've been mass retrenchments. People don't really have as much disposable income as before. So what are you really expecting from, you know, the shopper side of things?
So, I mean, we've exactly right. I mean, we've seen a massive shift in how consumers are operating. You know, the home has now become not just for play, but also for work as well. Sometimes, in some cases, classrooms as well. So people are far more conscious about what's in their house. Household debt has gone through the roof with the impact of COVID. You know, just to your point around online shopping, we've seen a 77% increase in people who are willing to shop online, which is staggering compared to where it was. And I think COVID forced a lot of people into that because it was safe and convenient. You know, we're expecting, you know, in instances where a lot of people are opting to stay home over the festive season as a staycation, as the term has been coined. You know, people's infrastructures in the house are a lot under a lot more pressure, and things are deteriorating quickly. So with savings on holidays, they might look to put that into TVs or fridges or furniture, anything that makes their lifestyles and their living at home a little bit easier. We just often say, I mean, the caveat to that is we just want South Africans to make smart decisions in the wake of what COVID's done to unemployment and to cash flow. For a lot of people, just make smart buying decisions. Just because the deal is there does not necessarily mean one has to take it. Just look for alternatives. Make sure that you don't overextend yourself in getting these unbelievable deals, because the deals are really unbelievable across all retailers.
I mean, this year there have been challenges for both, the retailers and the consumers. But as I always say, when there is a challenge, there also always comes an opportunity that kind of, I suppose, presents itself. What are some of the, I suppose, advice that you could give to retailers in terms of how they can use Black Friday to kind of maybe build consumer loyalty this year, so that, moving forward, and I'm obviously talking about the smaller sort of businesses who can kind of have a bigger footprint going into the next year. How do they take advantage of this challenge that we've had really this year and make the most out of what is a Black Friday?
So I think it's important that retailers don't look to take advantage of the pandemic, as it were, because I think that customers notice that. People are often looking for real value. I think the biggest thing that we've learned over this time, from a Teljoy perspective, as well as seeing our colleagues in the market, is that we've got to align our values with what our consumers are and our customers have, and then we've got to keep our promises. From a pricing perspective, all the way through to delivery, make sure that it's convenient, that it's safe, and keep our consumers happy, because it's a market that's very overtraded, and your competitive advantage becomes about customer experience. And that's that's what we're focusing on from a Teljoy perspective. Whether it's advice or not, I'm not sure. There's plenty of other businesses which have been down this road before. If I was to give advice, that's what it would be.
Yeah. Just in closing, and I'm sorry to put you on the spot here, Jonathan. I mean, as CEO of a relatively big company like Teljoy, I wonder if this year has also given you opportunities to kind of a tag team with smaller companies to kind of uplift in a way, because there've been so many opportunities where you could perhaps have partnerships and do more, in fact, for communities, those communities that kind of serve you, perhaps doing more in helping those perhaps that are maybe lagging behind, that you're able to form some kind of partnerships with, particularly as people move from the employee route and start to become entrepreneurs themselves. And I wonder if this is something that Teljoy is looking at, in terms of not just looking at their own margins, but also kind of reaching out to those communities that have kept them afloat throughout this time.
Sure. Absolutely. I mean, we often, social upliftment is the name of the game, and we are definitely focused on that, where there are instances where people are looking to start small businesses, to move out of the sort of the employee into an entrepreneur. We would definitely help out where we possibly can. Partnerships are always on the go. If anybody approaches us at any given time, we always look to assist. We've done many CSR initiatives over the course of COVID, because we do. Giving back is how we make ourselves. It's our ethos in our business, is to make sure that we are giving back to the communities who have been there for us over the last 50 years.
All right. Jonathan Hurvitz, thank you so very much for speaking to us, CEO of Teljoy. We appreciate your time, sir.
Thank you for having me.
Most welcome. All right, moving on.